and I'm going to be daring enough to say, expect a Nook to get banned out very first.
Really? That's a brave shout. That's a brave shout. You know, it is kind of moving to that side of the world. Death Row will have the first ban of the game, and our first ban will, of course, be, drum roll please, Dokebi. So one of those global abilities that I know that you love to get rid of the game nice and early, especially since the most recent update.
And Dokebi's so strong right now because the ability to keep someone stunned and locked on cameras for that extra bit of time to have that execution window, and there's that Nook getting removed. So you've lost a set of impact, or you've lost a set of grenades now. As Nook is so relevant with the reduction of the number of nades available, this is going to be a little bit tricky. This is going to likely force an Ascend or a band into an Azami here. Wouldn't be too surprised, but Ascend will take out that Valkyrie, which again we're going to see a lot of in this entire playoff bracket. I don't see teams varying too far away from what we tend to see in the metric for bans.
Question now: are we getting Azami?
I don't want to cast a curse it, but I expect so. No, it's actually going to be a mirror. So Azami's in play, and that's going to mean, for at least for Death Row, they're going to be able to just have a couple of good setups, especially down in basement. Lots of long lines of sight that you can make, especially down towards that tower stairs. You can help fortify Freezer as well, and with the reduction of the available nades you have to work with, it might be a little bit difficult to clear. So I think Swaz is going to be very happy with that one. He'll have a lot of extra lines of sight to work around.
Yeah, no, we're still going to wait to see what exact lineup they go for, but this is a map that Swaz can really have an impact for Death Row with the way he plays. But let's talk a little bit about Ascend going into this one too. A little bit of addition by subtraction. They spoke a little bit about Liquifac going on to EUL, but the players they've brought in, they've changed their style and they're finding a way to win games.
I mean, the way they've changed it is instead of having that one front-facing cannon of Liquifac being able to go in and just win gunfights, they've restructured how they play the game. They play a very, very structured style for the first opening stage of a round. They get themselves a map control and try and find themselves the opening pick. Once they get that opening pick, once they get that massive amount of map control, they then tend to get a little bit more free-flowing and then work around what problems to set up that Death Row will provide for them. And I will draw your attention to Frenchie on that echo. This could be a huge impact very early, and this is one of the operators that actually, before we went into this game, we prepped about. Frenchie is going to be on the bomb site. That is his role. He is what you would traditionally define as an anchor operator, or anchor character or player, I should say. He will be on site, he will lock it down, and he'll play operators that will help fortify and be huge impact in the late stages, as Swaz and Shuriki will be essentially sent out to go get kills. Even though he's on a Cade, we've seen him do massive things on this before.
Yeah, that 1-2 punch that those two bring into a game. So for Ascend, the way they like to play as well, it'll be very structured in the early game, and you can see that. They go and open up that door nice and early. They start looking to see if they can get an easy free pick at the start, but this is a team whippet that you get the vibe if they get the open and pick Ascend, usually they slow things down a little bit then and work on those next steps.
Well, the opening pick might arrive inside a garage here. Looks like Swaz is acutely aware that someone might be lurking in. Drone's getting sent out, trying to scout out. You see it propped up just there as well. Good drone network set up by Ascend, trying to figure out where this roam presence is. A double roam set up here from the Mozzie and the Alibi, trying to gain control of the main lobby. The Yokai drone's ahead, and that's going to be Swaz getting the very first pick of the playoff stages. And no surprise at all, it's going to be him arriving at the player, that hot prospect who is absolutely having a sensational stage right now. Gets that opening pick.
Gets the opener, playing from maps, and the fact that they had two players in position as well, but to almost guarantee the fact that even if they lost one, they would get themselves back to a 4-4. So now we get a little bit deeper into the round. You've got Deadshot now looking to get control of Pillar, but there is Swaz popping up again in the basement and getting his second kill of the round. 1 minute and 30 seconds to go, and all of a sudden Death Row just really grabbed this round.
If you're watching the group stages, you're already beginning to get flashbacks to what Swaz was able to do on this map in particular. Two very high impact picks, but that's going to be a massive pick. Now Swaz and Go rank now fall. Huge double piece now for Ascend. With a minute 20 now, they can take a breath. They can begin to work with the puzzles they have to solve, and one of those is going to be trying to deal with those Yokai drones as this round gets later on. And now you begin to feel that tension build. Ascend have that control, have that space. Death Row's advantage now gone with a minute left to work with, lots of time and a long out by Prime. Nearly finds it. C4 Prime ripped and ready. Will it arrive? Will the information be solid, and will they walk into this trap laid from Death Row?
Well, we like to say that it's the Swaz Shukri double punch that comes in from Death Row, and he's got that C4 in his hand. Frenchie playing just off him as well as things begin to slow. Prime has opened up that long angle looking through, but he's been droned out as well inside, and that is going to give even more information as we begin to go for the push. And that C4 whippet, it's been wasted. And now with 30 seconds to go, if this next pick goes to Ascend, well, this could be quickly over for them.
This is where you get to worry about a stall out now when that nade goes deep. It's going to clear that shield and give them a little bit of space now. Enemy can try and get himself on in, but that's going to be a huge pick now on the Prime. The advantage now sits to Ascend. 3 versus 2. 20 seconds. They're going to make it a 3 versus 1. It's all down now to Frenchie. Gets one, looks for a second and gets it. 17 seconds. Can he touch up? But he does. Death Throw, what an impact in the opening round. Gets it done, Frenchie. I mentioned high impact on the site. Leave him in 1v3 and he can still get the job done.
It's one of those bomb chassis players, is what we spoke about. He comes in clutch again. Think of the likes of Leader and what he's gone on to do as well. He gives you that same style of play. But let's be real with it. Very first round of Challenger League knockouts. It's a French team against a French team. And who comes up with the big triple kill clutch to win out the first round? Frenchie.
Of course. Has to be. Absolutely perfect. The French derby happens and Frenchie gets that conclusion. 1v3 already. It's the first game of playoffs. And they're already having 1v3s.
It's the first day of playoffs, and you know what else we got a little bit earlier?
What?
For those at home, you missed it, but we got Ollie doing a gritty.
Did you have to do him dirty like that?
Yeah.
No, there is no video proof that this happened. He was absolutely mesmerised when he first saw what this manoeuvre was. But he did hit it on the desk between the breaks from the pre-show and the game prep. But we got to witness it. It was absolutely glorious.
I think that production should get Jenny to do it next time he's up on stage.
I
think that's a great idea. But do you know what else would be a great idea with it? We talked a little bit about round 2 that's about to kick off here.
It would be. It would be good if we actually talked about the game, actually, before we go off meandering about a different story. But for Death Row, it was a very good start, as you'd expect. Frenchie managed to find himself that 1v3. For Ascend, it was kind of as you expect. They recovered from the two early picks that they suffered at the hands of Swaz, and then they slowed it down, as we expect them to do. They'll slow it down once they get themselves level or find themselves that map control. They begin to breathe. They begin to look through their drone network and begin to solve the puzzles ahead of them. Didn't work out that time. One individual player stopped it, but that's kind of the story of Death Row. You need to shut down all 5 players, because if you leave one standing, there's just a kindling of hope that they can get it done.
Yeah, and look at Goran getting in the early fight, but he's going to get taken down. And Swaz, though, he's there. He comes up, he gets the refrag, and we're back to a 4 versus 4. And now, this is a good point. Retreat back to site. You've got your early trade, and you've given Ascend something to think about.
I just want to highlight really quickly how when Swaz went down for that, they had a player on white stairs to then trade him if the worst happened. So again, Death Row are playing in this designed aggressive style. Yeah, kind of buddy system. They always have someone there, and Shirky's going to get a pick now. And that's going to leave Ascend in a 4v3 disadvantage. Death Row, once again, look how early we are in this round, and the huge impact in terms of eliminating players. And this could be a problem. If you don't contain this early, Ascend might find themselves hemorrhaging away rounds that they would really want to get in the bag early.
Well, it's 4 nades gone off the board. Early pick, and that can have a massive impact in this round as Maverick now will begin opening up Attic.
So you have 2 shields and an Azami in play, and you've lost your nades. You look at the soft breach retention, you've only realistically now got the Ash, and one of those charges has already been used, I believe. No, actually both still sitting in pocket. And very nearly through that wall there. I believe it was reinforced. The Prime was just about safe, but not safe from the window. Cactus gets it down. That's going to be a 3 versus 3. Minute 25 left to work with for either side. The try and claw us back. But soft breach cable is pretty limited now for Ascend. So if they run themselves into a utility setup, they might find themselves strapped for time and effort. But Shirky will find himself a second one. Deadshot falls, and now you begin to wonder what Ascend can do to recover this one.
Yeah, and now intel becomes massive. They have 3 drones available to use. We'll make that 2 as they lose 1. But you need to get intel. You need to isolate one of those Death Row players. And could it be Shukri? Swaz is holding that cross, waiting for the player to drop in by pit. So there goes the first stun grenade, but no push just yet. Now it's going to be the move, but he's not able to hit the shot. He swings onto white, and his enemy is going to fall. But that's a good kill by Cactus. 2 versus 1. But he's in a little tricky spot here with it as those toxic bays go off.
Surely we will not see another 1vx clutch this way going the other way for Ascend. Cactus has a lot of work to do in a very nasty crossfire setup and establish. He needs to get information, isolate these ones. But look at Shirky falling all the way back into that trophy. And Frenchie up close to that shotgun might be able to shut it down right here, right now. He'll swing wide. He'll send one pump of 12 gauge down range, but nothing lands. A rotation now inside a small door for the position given away. Single shot now reveals him, and a shotgun up close in person gets it done. And Death Row take a long way around, get it done. And they find themselves a 2-round advantage.
And with that, it's job kind of done is what the way you play this map now. You get your opening 2 rounds. The way things have gone, though, you usually see those 3-3 splits. So this is a very important round, you feel, for Ascend here to win this one. If Death Row can win that, they essentially get loads of free tries at getting that early advantage to get the lead. But the problem for me so far from Ascend with it is they've done a great job of getting picks in the mid-round. But whenever it comes to that final little couple of seconds, there's just been death row players pulling up big plays.
Well, instead of suffered realistically, and they get the opening pick, and then they get traded, and then death row find a second one off of that one. That's the problem. They go in, they get one, they get traded, and they lose a second, and that's unanswered. That's the problem for them right now. Now, they do recover that in the middle stage, but by that time, you've lost key utility. You know, we lost, what, 4 grenades in around 30 seconds, and you're facing off against 2 shields and an Azami in the late game, and those shields, we saw how pivotal they were. Frenchy just played it around. It had essentially free, infinite cover, could hear the rotation from behind him, and could play up close and personal with the shotgun. So it's those little paper cuts, those little tiny mistakes, or perhaps pathways or storylines around it you can really see unraveling. But we'll move in round number 3, and we'll see if Death Row can get themselves victory on their tertiary site, which will be meeting and dining.
But you know what I'm loving so far? The way Death Row are getting up close and personal with Ascend on the entry. They're putting players in good positions where they can go for the fight. There's a player for a trade, but you can also fall back if needs be. So if you're Ascend, a good way to counter that would be to play them at their own game. You play for that trade back the other way.
Looks like Ascend right now are trying to get themselves in a very early and aggressive upstairs take. They got a player on the bus trying to cut any rotations down the white stairs, and even a Yayana creeping in from Zulu to try and put that direct pressure on. Likely going to arrive inside of security to find some early pressure, but they're doing a good job so far, and that's going to be Deadshot. Finds the opening pick on a goal rank, but there's that trade once again, and it's going to be Swaz who finds it. If he can find a second one, this could be a lot of damage, and the case is cold, and Swaz goes and finds it. Enemy falls, and look at that once again. It's the storyline of Death Row. They lose one, get a trade, find a second one. There's no answer from Ascend as Prime. It continues to cascade the problems as another one falls. Death Row 4-2 advantage, and Cactus will try and retort, but just misses out by a fraction of a second.
First class delivery of 9mm, putting them down into a 4 versus 2 scenario, and now Deadshot will actually use that barrier the other way, opening up that laser gate to give him that audio cue if a member of Death Row looks to go for the flank. But with Death Row's position here in a 4v2, they have no need to play aggressive. But one thing they need to be worried about is Shukri's position is very easily taken down, and there you go, Deadshot gets the kill.
Get themselves one step closer to a level playing field. Now they have to find one more pick, isolate it, but they've got the upstairs control, so they can try and use that as a leverage point to clear these power positions. But that's a little bit easier said than done. They still try to work away with limited soft bridge utility. Once again, it's going to be the Ash using his breaching charges now, all 2 depleted. With a minute 14 left to work with, you begin to feel that they have to get a little bit more direct route 1 play, and that's exactly what Cactus will do. Cues himself outside in dining, will try and push on forward. Now just left a minute, he's going to try and enter his way in, but Frenchie locks it down. He's got a good line of sight, but that's going to be poor timing. Cactus swings at the perfect moment. Siege timing capitalized right there.
You gotta win your ones now for Ascend. You're pinching the site, you're putting pressure from multiple angles as Deadshot now begins to just make some noise on white stairs. We'll continue to play the verticality because there's still an absolute edge of time to go. 40 seconds on the clock, but Prime is getting a little bit aggressive up on top of those main stairs. He can hear the Ash making noise. He's going to peek, but he misses the head. He doesn't see it, but does he know that Ash is still there? And there's the audio cue up at the Azami. That Renegade made that noise, gives the intel, but Prime gets the kill.
Once again, Death Row and the Dying Embers find themselves that key advantage, leaving Cactus all alone. One player upstairs and the case is cold. You know, and imagine it will be pretty heroic if he can get this one done. 10 seconds, and I don't think he's going to get it. DMR up close and personal, not great for brawling, and guess who gets the final kill? Of course, it's going to be Swaz.
Look, he's just a player that if I was playing against this side, I'd ban Oregon. He's just straight off the bat, gets Swaz off his home turf, and look at the smiles and the laughs on the side of Death Row as well. But once again, even though they're getting very big kills at moments, Ascend are showing an ability to give the game a little bit closer, and they have decided this is the point to take that tactical timeout. And but we are big proponents of this. Do not wait till the game is over to take your timeout. Take it early when you can actually use it to make a change.
For them right now, there's clearly problems, right? They're clearly losing a lot of progression, a lot of key utility, and a lot of players in the early stages. Now, they do recover to the mid stage where they can't make executions work. So fix those problems, or at least a band-aid fix. Stop the water rushing into the boat now. You need to calm the ship, settle it, and get the job done. You're 3 rounds down on Oregon. Yes, you're on the attacking side, which traditionally, historically, has been weaker. It's shifted a little bit recently, getting a little bit closer to 50-50, but you want to start getting rounds back now. Otherwise, the second half begins to look very scary for Ascend.
Never mind patch the ship up, but would you nearly say they need to ascend the wave that is currently Death Row right now?
We are 3 rounds in. 3 rounds in the casting Challenger League here from Paris, and you've already hit me with a pun.
Defenders, protect your
I thought I would survive it when we got finished with MPL, but no, you had to do it with that.
Nah, No, you wouldn't admit it. You love it. Whippet is one of those people, guys, if you don't know that, he acts like he hates them, but deep down he loves it a little. We all love a good pun. And do you know what else a lot of people love right now? This Death Row 3-0 lead.
Well, a lot of the community voting on socials very much agreed with it. At least 73% went for Death Row. A lot of people backing it. And our predictions, our pick'ems, well, I'll leak my pick'ems at least. I said Ascend. I thought they'd have the legs inside a best of 3 to get it done.
Kill.
Look at this from Swaz. I mean, this is one of those key moments. This player is so good at what he does. He's able to always find a huge impact. But let's look at the current round once again. Round 4, we've completed that default 3-site rotation, so back to the basement we go. Death Row essentially play this with a massive extended roam. This is a nightmare to clear for Ascend, but it does open the opportunity to play a little bit more direct if they can find that one avenue, that one weak link in the chain, and exploit it.
Yeah, but let's see if that tack timeout has an impact. Last time we came here, it came up tuned down to a very big play coming in with Frenchie, who's really had an easy day since that moment. 4, and you know, he's got one more kill since that opening round because the rest of the work has been done by Swaz. Shukri a little bit quieter than we're used to seeing. GoRank going with 0 kills on the board at all. And when you look at the side of Ascend, there's really nothing between these two teams when it comes to just killing, but the round count is what matters.
I mean, being able to get yourselves over the line, over that very difficult position and win the round is what separates good teams from the very, very best. Now, Death Row, they have themselves a good position. Flores John will open up all the way inside of Electrical and give them a better line of sight and make it a little bit uncomfortable for Shukuri to do actually anything. So you can't essentially peek this at all, and that trick should be successful, and it is. So a first set of X-Carriers pellets from enemy has been burnt away, and this is going to just delay some time. Minute 50 left to go, and this is going to be a bit of a problem. So Ascend now have to rethink at least their core strategy. And one little thing before I hand back to you, this was the map choice for Ascend. They chose to go to Oregon.
I think they were trying to maybe break that map a little bit. They probably knew that unless they banned this map out, it was going to be in the pool. That's just the way that Oregon goes right now, and this is one of the stronger maps for Death Row. And look at that, open and pick. Swaz is going to go down, and that could be huge in this one because he has been the problem, the troublemaker for Death Row, and now the push is going to come down through Freezer. 2 players in position. There's a shield though. It's going to cause a little bit of chaos and confusion, as you need to be wary about the player that could be around the rotate. They're pre-firing, they're looking to take Freezer, and it's a different avenue attack now. Old school Freezer laundry tech, but you need to get the pick. You need to clear GoRank.
We are in for an absolute brawl. Less than a minute left to work with. 55 seconds, and it's going to be a very direct push from Freezer laundry. The hatch inside of Freezer finally opened up, so everyone's friends that Chala has to fall a little bit further back. The flashbangs to give a little bit of space for Death Row, or for Ascend, and the opening pick is going to go in favour of Ascend in this fight. Second now, and it's going to be a third. It's all going to go for Ascend now, and surely not. GoRank alone has to find 4. It's going to be a miracle if he can get it done. Enemy should get this case stuck, and that's going to be a smoke kill for Frenchie. 3 more to go for GoRank. The case goes down. They know his position. Surely not Gibby. Surely he can't find this one. Can't pull a rabbit out of the hat in this time around. They have utility. Angles all held and prepared for him. He'll swing wide. The nade doesn't get him. He might be able to find one hub on it, but no. And I think that might just be the opportunity pass, and it is. Enemy shuts it down, and Ascend, guess what? Find themselves a very first round. And the tag timeout seemingly has helped.
Yeah, it has, and it's a round that you think that they really needed to get going into this one, but it's still a very advantageous position here for Death Row if they can get a lead, but that could be the start for Ascend. Take it round by round, pull yourself back into this game, and really make this French derby a really impressive match. And Whip it, the reason why I think this French derby to open up is a big one too, you look inside the knockouts here of Challenger League, the playoffs, you've got 2 French teams. You look inside of the major coming up as well, you've got 2 French teams. So 4 French teams performing very well through all of the tiers right now. Would you argue that as of right now, France is probably the strongest region in Europe?
You've put me on the spot here.
I love doing it.
I'm in Paris. I don't want to say a bad thing about the French sides.
You know, the production teams, a lot of them are French, so you have to be nice.
You put me in a rock and a hard play situation here. Right, so I'll look at the top of the spectrum. I'm not putting my money on BDS or Wolves to win the major. And I'm excited to see who wins this one. I'm playing it safe. I don't want to annoy anyone. I like the French region. They are on a little bit of an uptick, especially. So BDS with the Lick Effect has been incredible. And they just won the Japanese Invitational as well. So again, a little bit of an uptick for them. If I was to pick any team, it would be them.
Yeah, well, I think you're probably right with that one. And you spoke earlier about, leaking our picks for this game, but then you got a little bit distracted because something happened in the round. But we both think Ascend were probably going to win this over the best of 3. But this is exactly what Death Row wanted. They want to draw Ascend into a gunfight, and that's what they've managed to do through 3 of the 4 rounds in this game so far. So now as we get ready for round 5, it looks like it's going to be another old school approach as they look in the early stages at least to be trying to clear armory, and they're going to get that master bedroom tech as they look to give up white stairs. And I think just changing things up and having a talk and trying to keep Death Row on their toes, it's a good approach.
They're going way more direct in this one. They're not trying to clear it because they realise, alright, Death Row like to roam, and guess what? We're losing when we engage in it, so let's go a little bit more direct. Let's try and clear what we can and try and fight them on somewhat of a home field advantage for Death Row, but it has worked out well. And look at the bodies stacked up inside of Armory too, and a Flores drone sent out as well to clear utility. That will do a good job of getting rid of what they can as zombie barriers in particular. And that's going to be Swaz gets the opening pick, but instantly traded by that Claymore. Des shot essentially makes that null and void. Both players taking each other out. Minute 50 left in this round on a 4 versus 4.
And I'd say Ascend are probably the happier with that one, with that trade, putting them back in a 4v4, but Swaz is down. But look at Shukri playing patient down below inside of basement, looking to stab a knife in the back of this attack whenever he can. Prime is doing his best to slow things down, but Frenchie's still in position. Rykos is going to take down Prime, but there is Shukri. Finally, the sting in the tail gets one. Frenchie gets another, putting us in a 3v2. And now, breathe, slow it down. Ascend, you've still got drones to use, to utilise. Work out where Death Row are, because Frenchie, a sneeze would take him down at this point.
But Frenchie, if you want to back anyone to try and win a fight in that situation, it might just be him. And Shurky's going to get himself back to site via white stairs. He's going to be able to make an impact, a little bit more of an anchor roll now. So that walk-in closet's already been opened up. They have that avenue deep into sight. But you'd imagine Ascend are cautious to push into it because they expect Death Row will know that that's open up and they can deal with it. 50 seconds and Frenchie's down below. He's got a C4 in his back pocket, if I don't mistake myself, and this could be huge. It all needs a little bit of information. One single call, and this round might unravel for Ascend.
Yeah, and Go Rank getting those shots off onto that Ace Selma charge will prevent them rotating in through Attic as well. Do not underestimate how important that one is, as it just makes this attack a little bit more linear again. Enemy goes for the swing, but there is that C4 from below as Frenchie takes him down, and it's all down to Cactus. He finds one. He knows he's got another player isolated over on that side of the map, but with 20 seconds to go, he needs to make something happen. Now, if he hits the deck, he may spot the feet, but he will go in the Flores drone and lets it go. That's a big brain move. It makes a lot of intel. It just distracts those defenders momentarily. He goes for the push. Doesn't get that one. There's going to be the swing. Shukri gets the kill, and Death Row take round 5.
Creative solution to try and bait out that Flores drone. Didn't work out. Didn't follow it closely either. But that will be Death Row. And you imagine that was Death Row's round realistically when Shurky popped up and that C4 detonated. The case went cold in the middle of generator. There was no answer or solution to it. 4-1 the scoreline. Death Row. One more round, and you put yourself in a very good position to close out the opening map very early.
Don't you dare put the 5-1 curse on Whippet. Me and you have a bad habit of 5-1 games going all the way to the very end, so I'm not even going to think about that one.
It's too late. It's done.
You've done it. You've done it. So viewers, get ready. This is going to be a great one to kick us off.
15 rounds guaranteed, because I've just cursed it.
Yeah. But I want to talk one little thing about that last round that I really like, Whippet, and that's the ability of Death Row to be really mobile around the map. If it's not Shukri coming up through basement and rotating back up white, it's another player dropping down through Kid's hatch and rotating below with the C4. I always like to say it, mobility is winnability. And well, we're seeing an operator that you're pretty happy to see kick in here.
So, Doc's getting brought out by Prime. Now, if you're an old school viewer, you'll remember there was a certain phrase, promoted the Doc, given to the most elite of 92 Dream Team. And, well, Prime hasn't exactly had the most hot performance so far, 2 and 4, but with that extra ability to stim yourself up, be able to get your teammates back to fighting form, a little bit of extra health in the back pocket as well, and an MP5, you really can't argue with that one. And of course, with his new changes, I always like seeing something a little bit new getting dashed into the climate.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of people like to see the French operator back in action in this French derby as well. But we are 30 seconds into the round now. And once again, look at the position of these Death Row players. They're holding on to positions that are pretty important inside the early stages of this game. Areas that those attackers want to clear, need to clear if they want to move around that ground floor. Shukri's going to get aggressive and he's going to pay for that one, as that will be the kill. Coming out as Osa. That Osa shield in that position, but is a defender's nightmare.
this could be a huge problem to try and deal with and clear. 4v5 advantage for Ascend, and this is pretty much a rare territory to find themselves in. They've got themselves the opening pick. They've not been traded, and now they can try and control the map. They'll slow it down, and they'll begin to work their way through it. Swaz, on a little bit of a roam on that Womai, will try and cause some chaos. So a little bit of doubt in the minds of everyone for Ascend. And one little fact is, of course, we mentioned it on the desk that these teams met last weekend, and Ascend was able to get the victory. Swaz was not playing in that match for Death Row when they were at Paris Games Week, so a little bit of a factor going into that one. Of course, they were likely saving, but he wasn't there to make an impact.
Still want to win it, though.
Of course.
You still want to win every game you go into, and, Ascend, maybe, even though you know that game's not quite as important as this one, it can still give you that little bit of mental relaxation. You think, we just beat them 3-0, or we just beat them 2-0, sorry, in a best of 3. So now Death Row are in a great position, and there is Frenchie getting that one back to a 4v4 as Echo can find the kill. GoRank still aggressively playing on the ground floor. Enemy has opened up that line of sight, and Rykos will trade back Frenchie as we find ourselves in a 4v3, and with Cactus on pillar right now, Whippet, they're starting to gain control for this backside execute.
Next pick essentially wins it. If it goes for Ascend, that's going to be a 4-2 split. If Death Row can find it here, I'd imagine they can lock it out in a 3 versus 3. And Aid primed and ready, at least spitting out some sound, and Elbow has been patched up now, so they'll concede that control, they'll trade space for time, and they'll burn away that shield as well. A few extra frames, you never know, you might miss those out later on. 30 seconds now, you begin to feel the tension. Time will press these players together now, and they'll get ready for some fireworks now. They'll clear pillar, but guess what, there's Swaz. He'll try and make an impact, but doesn't get that pick. He'll stay alive though, he'll continue to be a problem, he'll be a demon, lurking, haunting, and he's going to get himself shut down by Rykos. 17 seconds, and they have to try and force themselves a plant. The player on pillars might get shut down, and GoRank will find a mess of damage, but not enough to down or kill. That's going to be huge. 4 versus 1. The case goes down, and Prime can't make it work. Ascend, they got that pick, they got control. It was a little bit scrappy at the end by Highway, but guess what? They got themselves a second round, an extra lifeline, and we'll move on to the side swap for round number 7.
2 out of 3 rounds since the TAC timeout as well. We can't underestimate the impact that will have for Ascend going forward. At this one, it's about using them at the right times.
You got to use them at the right time. You have to be able to calm the nerves at the right time. But again, this is good for Ascend. They used a TAC timeout, and from that they played 3 rounds and they got 2 out of it. So that's a better run than what they had from the 3 rounds they'd already played previously. So good little uptick in performance. Now let's hope they can continue it. Now, if you listen to me cast and ramble away before, you'd guarantee I've said round 7 is one of the most influential and important rounds inside of a game of Rainbow Six Siege. It is when the tempo changes. You go from attack to defend. So for Ascend now, they can set the pace, they can set the tempo, they can control and mold the map in a way that makes it work best for them, and they can put pressure on Death Row. Realistically, Death Row have been a better defensive side because they have that flexibility, have that mobility. You touched on how good they are at moving around the map and site in those stages, and this could be a little bit restrictive for them now if Ascend can play into it correctly and have a huge, or at least try and make everything difficult for Death Row to set up.
Yeah, and you got to look at the re-pick stage here as well that's coming in, and you're going to take the Lion and the Flores. Flores, of course, to clear those shields. A safer way of doing it than wasting nades, and provide you a little bit of cover as well. Lion is going to come in as well, and that's just to freeze those defenders in place. Now, the big thing for Ascend Whippet is to know when to stand still and when to move, and the first one's going to go early, and that's just to get some intel, because of course the attackers in the first few seconds, they're going to move when that EDE pops.
I'm not a big fan of using it that initially. Of course, it might, you can say, you can justify going, well, someone might run out. They might spawn peek, there might be someone close that you might be able to catch out and get that little information. But you can save it for, I think, a rainy day, a bit of a scrappy situation, use it in coordination with a roam clear. And so far, we look at this entry white all inside of Big Tower so far. Very reminiscent of, well, basically when a certain side was able to win Rally, when they were a huge impact in that one. They used to play this in a very similar way, but for the time being it will be a slow methodical clear. They'll try and get as much map control as possible, and I think for Death Row they're going to go very direct from this, from the bunker and rear stairs.
Yeah, and now Smoke's position's a little bit more difficult to play on Elbow as well, because that shield has been removed. Now Deadshot with the alibi is holding that pixel angle towards Armory, towards main stairs, daring a member of Death Row to push from that side of the map, but as of right now it doesn't look like that's the push that they are going to go for. So they're looking to establish ground floor control, and as you look at those silhouettes off in the distance, it's a very, very strong push coming in from Death Row over on that northern side of the map by Big Tower, at least at this point.
minute 30 left to work with, and we find all 10 players still standing. Don't trust the top of your screen, it's lying to you. Trust me, trust my voice. Always trust my voice. I will never mislead you.
I've never trusted you once in my life, and it's worked out pretty okay so far.
Well, the real thing is don't actually trust a damn thing I say. But it is going to be a 5 versus 5, 10 players left on either side, and we're going to get that stage with a minute left in the round. Now, in the basement defense, this is going to be an absolute brawl. The gloves are off, and it's going to be bare-knuckle brawling. Minute left, and I have a feeling with the flashbangs, the nades, everything will arrive. But can Death Row break the deadlock and find a way to crack Ascend's fortress of a defense?
Well, there is that second EDE, and the smoke grenade will just delay that drop through the hatch a little bit longer. Jaeger's position here is of vital importance. He's getting pushed multiple times. There's one onto Shukri, and that enables him to get a little bit more aggressive onto the player on stairs, but Frenchie does drop and finds the kill. Deadshot down, Azok's down. 4 versus 3 now, but Frenchie is pretty low HP. Enemy will swing. He gets a double with that one, and he gets a triple, but Swaz now is going to put him in a 1 versus 2 whip, but that is that for round 7. Ascend win it, and a 4v2 is a 4v3.
Enemy was full flash. He tucked himself in the corner highway. He managed to swing wide and win the round. Experience trumps all, I guess. In that experience, he knew, I'm flashed. I don't know if someone's going to pick me from pillar. Let me go into this corner. Let me make sure I'm nice and safe, and I'll have an impact in a few seconds' time. And guess what? You won the round for it. Ascend get themselves in striking distance for 3. Still advantage Death Throw, but you begin to feel the tides might be turning.
Well, that was a massive round for Ascend now, and it allows them to take a little bit of a breath in now too, because if Death Throw won that with a 2-round advantage, you'd feel like it's only a matter of time before they clutch out this map. But now at a 4v4-3, all Ascend got to win now is win this second site, that top floor, and all of a sudden the sides are once again at level, and from that point it is anybody's game.
If Death Throw let this draw level, 4 rounds apiece, that's going to be a tack timeout. That has to be in my mind. You have let a pretty significant advantage slip, and realistically Ascend, since they've called their attack time, have been building and building and building and building on momentum, and they've really grown into the stride. Of course, it's their second defensive round. I'll not get too energetic, too hyperactive about it yet, but they have themselves in a good position to get themselves level and take the lead for the very first time in this series. And of course, as we should all know, best of 3, of course, in fact. So it's not going to be a best of 1 like group stages. This will be a nice long series, of a feeling. A nice long French derby.
I'm a big fan of best of 3 as well, but you know it. The best team always wins in a best of 3, and best of 1s, it is just a real... It just depends on what cards you're dealt. One player popping off in a best of 1 can be the be-all and end-all of a map, but on a best of 3, you need to be consistent.
Are you saying simply because the best team always wins the best of 3s, when group stages are best of 1s in majors, that's why CAG doesn't win?
Exactly.
Yeah. Simple deduction on that one. That's why CAG are not your champions yet. They're going to win in Sweden.
People's champions.
They're going to win in Sweden.
Look at Demo. Demo had something to say about that a little bit earlier. We'll ask him about that when he gets back on the desk as we get back into round 8 now. As a little bit of a delay coming in. Enemy playing inside Armory is stopping that push in through Garage, and that's already 1 minute gone off of the clock, and Azami will provide some cover for Enemy as well by just using those Kiba barriers on the window, on that wall into attic, and I actually like that Kiba barrier on that attic rotate.
Oh, do elaborate then. Go on.
Well, when you think about it this way, if they get attic control, as you can just see, bullets go through that if it's a soft wall, but that Kiba barrier in place allows Azami to play on the backside of that shield for the master bedroom push. But on the other side of that, whenever Azami decides, well, do you know what? The push doesn't come from there. Get rid of the barrier, shoot back up towards attic. It's a good decision.
It's almost like the perfect example of how she is one of the most versatile and influential operators in the game right now, and it's why I would suggest teams ban her away, especially when a Nook's getting removed, especially when someone, at least one nade operator is getting removed, because she's so impactful if let have free reign. So we have a minute left in this round, and it's kind of been, as you'd imagine, typical Oregon. Not a lot's happened so far. A lot of posturing, a lot of gesturing, Death Row getting control. They've opened a breach instead of Anakin to begin to walk their way forward. Shuriki's going to play around that window, but he's going to decide better of it. He'll rotate back to Big Tower, and with 55 seconds left to go, no picks still remaining, this is Death Row being very slow. We see them be super energetic, super in your face on the defense, but now tides have turned once again, and they're struggling to break down the steadfast defense from Ascend once again.
10 players still alive in the server as we get towards the final 30 seconds. We might even see some old school Siege with the 20-second execute, but time is still ticking. GoRank has complete control of this ground floor, but look down inside basement. We have one defender, a Ralkos, getting ready to make his move. There is your opening pick. Azox takes down Shukri. Cactus gets one, Enemy gets the other as Frenchie will fall now too, and just like that, flawless round. Someone call a tactical timeout. We'll wait and see.
I would. After that one, I very much would be like, okay, we need timeout. That was, well, flawless round from Ascend. I think it sums it up absolutely perfectly. They didn't give Death Row a single thing. They didn't overextend themselves. They didn't overpeak. They didn't give a pixel to shoot at. And when Death Row have that opening, they begin to struggle. They begin to find it very difficult to get themselves into the game, and then all of a sudden the flow leans towards the time being a pressure point, and guess what? Ascend are ready and set up to deal with it. So, good adaptions, good reading, and they are playing this very, very well. Good. Now, tertiary site. This is where it gets interesting. Can Ascend make it a flawless rotation of 3 sites? Well, Death Row was able to do it. You'd imagine now Ascend will be able to do it. They've been very strong. Very defense-sided Oregon we're witnessing once again here. But this is a very important round. Very, very important. Because, of course, we might be in sort of 12 rounds if this goes a
And once again, a reminder, the Death Row were 3-0 up when that timeout came in. And since then, we have had 5 rounds and Ascend have won 4 of them. And that is the impact that it can have. Just the coach getting in the call saying, guys, calm down. This is what's going wrong. Get the team to have a little bit of a talk. But Whippet, this is a sign now in particular when you look for Ascend holding control of that top floor for as long as possible, making it very difficult for Death Row is the order of the day.
To beat Death Row, this is the blueprint right now being laid out by Ascend. So, you know, if this ends up Death Row going to lower bracket and you have to meet them, pay attention. Slow them down. Don't give them a single thing. Make every single inch a absolute war, or don't expose yourself to it and just wait and be comfortable under the pressure of their map control that will arrive. And look how quickly GoRank's already knocking on the door of Kitchen. This could be a problem. If he walks on in and gets a free pick, this could be quite disastrous. But looks like Enemies are reasonably aware of it for the time being, so he'll be clued in at least to try and catch it out if he is so daring to do so.
Yeah, and GoRank, the Belgian, is a fantastic player, but he's being shut down here, going 1-7 so far. Cannot get anything going.
We got baited there.
We did.
He's offside, I think.
That was hard. That's cruel. That is cruel right there. We get excited, you know, that's why we enjoy doing this casting thing, shouting at plays. But GoRank is going to get some assistance now from Frenchie as it looks like they're going to go completely horizontal in towards this site. And with 1 minute and 45 seconds to go, getting that wall open at this point, I'm liking the timing and the pacing of this round just a little bit better.
The mute jammer is causing a few problems here.
Just a little.
Now, I think they might have cleared it with that impact, and they have done so. So now they'll burn through and they'll give themselves that opening. Now the smoke grenade, it's only there to burn away. They're not going to be doing something kind of crazy and rushing on through it. And the Frenchie has to worry about this fight on White Stairs. This could be disastrous. He's got the case in hand and no one player's going to fall. It's going to be Swaz. The trades there, however. 4 versus 4. Steadies the nerves, calms the ship. Then at 15, Frenchie needs to push forward, get himself to safer pastures. But look at this. They're in a lockdown and gain control of the server. They need to clear security, but they don't have a lot of avenues to do so. And this could be a problem. But Prime reads it perfectly, finds from the dead shot, gets that advantage now swinging in the favour of Death Row. Can they get their very first offensive round? And this fight inside security might just define that.
That main door cut off was big one as the player looked to rotate back around. These positions can be so good. Shukri will find one, putting us into a 4 versus 2. Enemy is going to fall as well as he was stunned and blinded. And now it's all down to Cactus, and Shukri finds the kill. And Death Row stem the bleeding even just for a moment. And they needed that round.
To get themselves back into the lead, and that's a massive mental advantage. You've led from the outset. You've only kind of suffered to the point where you've drawn yourself a level. Now, back in the lead, you're back in the driver's seat. Can you manage this game? One more round for Death Row, puts them on the map point. Ascend will want to draw themselves level again. Give it 12 rounds. We're looking like we might have a long opening day in the office.
I'm all for it.
Oh, absolutely.
These are the best teams from their national leagues, the teams that aren't competing at EUL, and getting them together and seeing these qualify. It just goes to tell you, these are the best teams. And these are 2 French sides. This is incredible when you consider the fact, you know, and look, what's going to be, they're going to say, you know, English, Irish casters. there was so many teams from the MPL region through or into the group stages, but look at France right now.
The only region with 2 representatives, and they go head-to-head on day 1.
It's a bit unfortunate.
It is double elimination, so no matter how this goes, both French sides will remain to play later on this week. But it's a little bit unfortunate they do clash head-to-head so early. But of course, hold your heads up high, France got 2 teams into the playoffs, more than MPL can say, and we had 2 spots in our National League.
That's true.
No, let's not even dawn on that one. It hurts still.
You're a little upset. It's okay.
Listen, I want to listen.
You'll get through this.
I want a jobless to make a run, or job seekers to make a run.
Job seekers, they gave it their all. 3 wins
1
on
point.
the very.
They needed 1 point in the last weekend, Gibby.
But look, they didn't get there. Death Row and Ascend made that move, and now Azox will begin pushing up those big tower stairs, pushing up blue once more. As with 30 seconds gone, you see that drone network in place now, looking to identify where the strengths are, where the weaknesses are, and they've cleared out a big tower already. 2 minutes and 19 seconds gone. The pacing from Death Row, whenever they increase it a little bit, it gives them a lot of advantages. But you just feel this roam that is being put together by Ascend is just eating up so much time.
Ascend just want to burn time. They've changed, or they've read into Death Row right now. They know that they want to play aggressive. They want to be in your face, so let's slow it down. Let's make it very difficult to do. Now, yes, they're 1 round down, but they've had a very good run of form so far. And, well, they like to continue that one for the time being. And just look at the way they're lurking. They're setting themselves up. They're waiting. They're not getting themselves in early engagements. And this is a very wise choice because, well, when it was a side swap on the other side of the coin, they very much suffered in that early stages. And this could be a huge pick. You're not going to be able to find it yet. Will be dead shot, but he'll try and creep his way around and continue to gain control. The Osa shield gets placed down, locks down, backstairs, minute 30. And this is going to be a problem. You have to clear Prime, or at least now Prime's existence locks you in place. You can't rotate around pillar, and that begins to get a little bit scary.
Yeah, and right on cue, they look to take control of construction here as well, but enemy gets aggressive on the road. If they can take this position with the Osa on backstairs, that pillar position becomes a very dangerous one for Azox to hold. But we're getting in towards that last minute of this round. Reminder, Ascend win this one. We're guaranteed to go all the way 12 rounds.
55 seconds left to work with, and the Osa shield will creep on down. Try and walk it forward, will be Prime, but look at this drop instead of E-Box. It's going to be Frenchy. Tries to find a massive damage and will do so. Rakos gets that trade, however, leads in a 4 versus 4. Yes, well, it's going to go brawling once again in basement. Pillar's going to be made a toxic mess now. That smoke cancer burns it away, and Goldrun tries to scrap and hold control of meeting, and he does so. Absolutely huge and critical. Frenchy finds another one. Now, this is where it's all important. Utility sent out, trying to deny the plant, trying to hold on the time. 2 players left remaining on site. The LMG, the 81 in hands of Cactus. He's got Evil Eye to work with as well. Enemy has no toxic canisters, so it's down the weaponry and cameras and information alone. Game sense and experience will define this round, and that's going to be huge. Enemy finds Frenchy Diffuser down, and Cactus gets Prime. This is a problem. Look at Goran's HP as well. A single stray round will be enough to send him or tase from the LMG. It's going to be enemy now down, leaving Cactus all alone. 7 seconds, so he can make this work. He's going to get an LMG. Surely not now. It's going to be down to the kill. Goran, low HP, has to make it work, and there's Cactus. He's going to get round number 10 in the bag for Ascend, and guess what? Gibby, all 12 rounds will be needed to get these 2 teams separated. What an opening matchup on our hands for the very first game of the playoffs.
Did you just say we're going to go all the way after that one? You said it, not me.
2 puns. 2 puns.
You said it, not me.
2 puns. 2 puns. 3 strikes and you're out.
I just know that, the guys are in the green room already saying, get that man off. Get him gone. Get him gone. But tactical timeout now for Death Row, and that is a round that they should have won. In the position they were played, it was a 4 versus 2. Now, yes, I agree, a lot of the Death Row players were really low HP. You saw that with the fact that they were able to get the kill with that Evil Eye. But Maestro is one of those operators that time and time again, you see him clutch in the biggest moments. One of the best clutches we ever seen in competitive Siege was on bank with that as well. And, it's nice to see Maestro pop up every once in a while with a play like that.
Huge impact operator. You have an LMG, you have 81 rounds. It's still a controllable LMG. People get a little bit scared of it after what happened to Finka's LMG, but no, all is still good. as they'll make it work. Cactus certainly made it work in that situation. And you have the Evil Eyes as well, which are very good at, guess what, gathering information and stopping low HP targets from getting that case down. It presents a predicament for anyone who has to try and make that play happen. It's an extra thing to think about. It's an extra layer, an extra complication to making execution stick and work. And Ascend, once again, done a very good job of damaging people, getting the clock to get on a critical stage. When Cactus was left alone, had 7 seconds left to hold on. That's pretty doable with an all the 81 rounds, doesn't have to worry about a reload, and has all that live information around sight. So very well done from Ascend. And as we said, all 12 rounds of regulation will now be needed to separate these two sides. Do I be daring and say maybe overtime might be calling?
It's looking likely. It's looking on the cards, but this is a big round because one of these teams is guaranteed one match point.
Yes.
Guaranteed to get it before we go towards overtime. And you gotta say, on the site, with the way Ascend have been playing since their attack timeout, I have a feeling that the defensive side are going to win this round, and Ascend are going to have to make a big thing happen in round 12.
Yeah. I agree.
You agree? What? You agree with me?
I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, the cosmic balance of the universe is being thrown asunder. If I've agreed with Gibby? Oh, God. What's happened there? But no, this is getting too close to call. Our pick'ems both said Ascend. Now, this is only map 1, I remember. So, there's no, 3-2-1 scoring system. It is just whoever wins the map gets that point, that little pip at the top of your screen, and gets themselves closer to closing out the series. So, for Death Row, can they continue to build on that momentum? Can Ascend continue to have these steadfast defenses that Death Row cannot break down? It's been so difficult for them to find a way in because, Ascend don't give them picks. They just wait. And they burn the time, and Death Row don't like that, as they've very much been struggling with it so far.
And you look at the setup again, and it's a setup that will slow down that attack. You're cutting off information with the Mozzie. Those laser gates, as our friend likes to call them, will slow down that attack as well. Mute Jammer, another way to deny that intel. And by doing that, you're forcing Death Row to take you on in straight one-on-one gunfights with no intel whatsoever. And there's another operator there that we have seen have massive impacts through CL groups, and that is the Frost as well. As the round progresses, attackers get a little lazy sometimes.
Jegs plays later on.
Oh yeah, he did it twice in one round.
He plays later on. That's the impact you might be talking about. But no, of course, Frost is a scary one to worry about. You don't want to get caught in those pog mats. That's the last thing you want, especially on a stage like this one. You don't want to be that clip, and that was, I saw your reaction to that one.
That was a pixel. That was a pixel away from the opener in this one, and it just forces those defenders back a little bit more. Not going to peak that one anytime soon, but you keep everybody alive inside of the fight. Now, the question for Death Row is you're down inside that last minute already. You've not really used a lot of your intel, but look at how many drones they've lost. But the intel game is practically non-existent for Death Row now.
They're going to struggle with this one. They've got 3 available drones. 3! They have 40 seconds now to try and find out what they're dealing with. And guess what? Down below, that's going to be a C4 now sent up to no avail. Luckily, you're going to be counting your lucky stripes for that one. But look at this, 30 seconds. And, well, how far away is everyone? They're going to try and make an execution stick from the window and a C4 down below from enemy. This could be very, very, very brutal indeed. And they'll wait. They'll be patient. Very uncharacteristic now. The diffuser gets juggled around. They're trying to find the best way in. Goranko trying to ascend these stairs and try and have an impact. In go the Candelas, and that's going to be huge. That could be dead. Shot, and the Pogmat shuts it down. No, we talked about it, Gibby. It's happened before our eyes. Ascend will surely get themselves a flawless round. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, and guess what? There's Deadshot. Flawless round. Ascend put themselves on that point here in Oregon.
Frost just giving Death Row cold feet with that one as we now move to round 12. And this is it for Ascend. If they win this map, let's remember though, this has gone all the way in regulation. This is Ascend's map pick. So they're doing all this just to hold their serve. If this goes the way of Death Row and this goes to overtime, they're going to their pick next and they could wrap this one up really quickly.
I don't want it to end so early.
No.
Such a good game. But actually, I will say this. The next map, Chalet. That does get me excited. Chalet, one of my... Actually, you know what? My favourite map in the competitive right now.
French sides.
True. I didn't think about that one, actually. Most teams are going to get a buff for that one, but it is my favourite map to see, so it will probably not be too long until we'll be able to see that one. But alas, we must worry about Oregon for the time being, and for Death Row, it is now. Get this round, or you lose the map. Overtime or bust for this side. Can they make it happen? Well, it's going to be a tertiary site for Ascend, so if there was going to be a golden or an opportunity, that one weak link, it will be this. It will be meeting, it will be kitchen. That's the side of choice. Can Death Row find a way in? Can they just disturb the steadfast sentinels of Ascend? Can they get themselves in? Because they've really struggled so far. And it's been like this 2 flawless defensive rounds Ascend have had so far on their split.
Yeah, I think with the attacker lineup that we have now, we haven't seen the way they're approaching the map yet, but I feel like this is going to be another horizontal approach when you've got the Thatcher and the Thermite to take that wall out of kitchen. Now, they could prove me wrong, casters, we get these things wrong all the time, but that's what they can do, because top floor is being Ellen. Look at the operators they have there, Whippet. You've got yourself Azami, Alibi, Malusi. All of them are just so frustrating to play against. And Swaz is already going to spot out one of those Malusi gadgets. And, well, Reikos will get the opener onto Shukri. Down goes Sledge. Down goes the nades. And that's a big pick in this game.
So you've just lost half of your soft clear utility, and it's going to get even worse. Your EMPs are now gone. That's going to be Deadshot finds Prime. And now for Ascend, guess what? You don't have to peek. You have to wait. You have to hold on. You have 2 minutes of essentially don't even play the game, and you'll win the map. This is very, very scary for Death Row. The first map looks to be set to slip between their fingertips. They look so in control. They looked in control on the opening half, but Ascend fought back through the trenches, and now with a minute 45 left to go, it looks like they're almost guaranteed to close it out.
Yeah, no Thatcher left, no Sledge. You've wasted a nade clearing one of those Malusi gadgets as well, so it leaves you with one bit of offensive utility in the back pocket. You've got the goggles, you've got the lion. You can freeze those players in position, but now Swaz picks up the diffuser. The one thing I will say, even though he's going 9 and 10, while he is still alive on the server, you cannot write them off.
Nade sent in. Oh, look at the damage that does the Cactus. Leaves him on a single point of HP. He'll still live the fight yet another day. Utility in his back pocket remains. Enemy C4 still in his utility belt remaining. Minute left to work with. The case in the hands of Swaz. He's a little bit away from his teammates right now, but guess what? They've got a clear security. And their position now known. Flashbang stand out to try and cover their trails, but this is going to be an absolute bloodbath. They'll send Whites out to gain what vertical control they can, but that Cactus, he'll wait, he'll choke them out. That's Toxic Babes working on both Frenchie and Swaz to get a nice big gulp of that toxic fume. And you imagine they've run into a roadblock. 35 seconds, and they're going to be left to try and brute force this option. It won't be easy, and Frenchie needs to win this fight, and he doesn't. 2v5, it's going to be a 5v1 now. Gibby, it's Go Rank alone against the world. He's not going to be able to get one. Not yet, at least. Left on low HP. 20 seconds, and it's pretty safe to say it's all but over. Ascend should lock out Oregon, unless Siege Gods decide otherwise.
Yeah, he's going to get taken down. Not the best game for Go Rank, but you gotta say, Ascend, after that tactical timeout, played a blinder. But when you look back at that round, that last round, how impressive was Cactus on that top floor, shutting down all avenues of verticality, forcing them through that narrow entrance onto site, and really cleaning that round up.
2 flawless rounds back to back to get that map closed out. That was absolutely incredible from them. Ascend fought back, got the control, and they get themselves the very first map in the playoff stage. They get Oregon, they get their map choice, and now you begin to feel they'll have a little bit more confidence moving on the Chalet, which both these teams are comfortable on.
So that is the map that was chosen, won by the team that picked it. Ascend do manage to grab that one, but it will be Chalet after that one. How much of an impact does a long game like that, I think, have on these sides?
This is going to be a fatiguing series if it goes long on Chalet as well. That was not a close or not a short game. There was a lot of long rounds as well they had to play out, and it came down to the wire several times. So it's going to be a factor, but these teams have been there, done that before, so they're not going to be completely gassed out yet, at least. But I still think there's a lot to give in Chalet, and I think it's going to be an absolutely fantastic matchup to watch.
Cannot wait. I really cannot wait for that one. However, one thing I do want to see right now, though, is what our desk has to say, and more importantly, are we going to get that gritty from Ollie?
I don't think so. I don't think so, Gibby. I don't think that's going to be in store for this one. But when we look at how that map worked out, how Ascend was able to have that control, a lot of it came from the fact that they were able to reset. They were 3 rounds down. They managed to use that tactical timeout perfectly. They didn't wait too long. We've seen how many teams do that in the past. They were able to reset, get the control, and they had absolutely fantastic kind of rebounds from it.
Yeah, they did. So as we look towards the next one, well, look, we're actually getting in the production. They're giving out this. They're saying, okay, we got to go to a break, Wilbert. We've talked too much.
We'll go to a break then.